Broncos make me eat humble pie as Reece Walsh sends a tornado straight through the Storm defence line as Storm's title hopes are going down the toilet, as well as with Hughes and NSA both out for the rest of the season. Most likely, Storm are in trouble, but the Cavalry are coming back. Harry Grant will return with Stefano next week, so can Melbourne Storm get back in the hunt in terms of chances of winning this premiership? And the Warriors now have a home semi, and most likely it could nearly be finished today, not confirmed. But if the Warriors lose, it's pretty much and the Roosters win, it's confirmed that Penrith is where the Warriors will be playing Penrith, and Sharks will be playing the Roosters, if that is what happens tonight. But if the Warriors win, then they got a chance of playing either Roosters or Dolphins, depending on the result. But more than likely, after tonight, we might have a more... That's why I was hoping Jet Cleary was going to get picked, because it could be Warriors Penrith and Jet Cleary. Well, let's get to it right here, right now, as the final charge is coming here at Barry Charles Footy Show. Yes, Broncos were sensational yesterday. Absolutely sensational. Storm never looked in the hunt. Even when they looked like they're going to get back into it, they just bounced back. That is what the Broncos need going forward. They were close to a premiership. We all know what happened 2 years ago. They blew it. Can they get there again? They've probably got the best opportunity they have by sneaking into fourth. They're in form. They're hot to trot. The Canberra Raiders, probably the last team they want to face. That is for sure going into round one of the finals, because the Broncos could blow them apart. And Shibazaki should be back in the team. But would you put Reynolds back in? Don't think so. But yes, outstanding that the Broncos were. Harry Grant is a big, big inclusion for the Storm. And he's been the biggest reason why they haven't been winning. He has been tremendous in this football this season, and he'll be back, and he will give them a big chance. He is the number one hooker in the game. There is no doubt about that. Harry Grant, in terms, especially at club level, he's the great. Harry Grant, to me, looks ready to bring back Sean Bloor as well, and Stefano. I just think the Storm will get the win, but they could crack because there's no Hughes. NSA, well, I don't know whether he's good enough to stay on the field. I think his career in the NRL is just about over. He might be going to the Super League after this contract, I would say, because he's such a talent. But in the rules that they got now with the high shots, he's just too tall to me. Even him getting down low, he's going to hit someone high. It's just the way it is. It's just his biomechanics of his body. He can get lower, but at the end of the day, he's going to be in less balance the lower he goes. So that's the question mark you have on NSA. But Jerome Hughes, they've played without him. But does Pezzett do they have to go nail the coffin and go, Pezzett, you're our man. You play number 7. Don't change anything else. Wishart goes to the bench. Let Pezzett play the whole game. I think that's where they should go. I don't think they'll do that. They haven't shown they're going to do that. But if they want to win the premiership, I think that's what they need to do, just to put that little bit of icing on the cake. Just let Pezzett just control the kicking game. That's all he needs to do, and let everyone else do their job. But when they put Wishart in there, I'm not sure his kicking game's up to standard. He's solid defender and all that, I understand that. But yeah, that's the question mark I have on the Storm winning this competition. But yeah, Canberra resting the players, is they going to be costly? Well, we'll find out next week, obviously. But we've got quite a few games to get through this week. The Warriors, will they crash DCE's party? Well, for what the results we've seen so far this week, I know it was an upset, but if you go on pure form, you'd probably say the Warriors are going to struggle. But come on, the Warriors. They need to deliver. To have any chance of beating Penrith or the Roosters, most likely, they need a win, and they need to win impressively. Question mark is Tanner Boyd. He had a good game last week, to be honest. He's going to need a big one again today. But can any of these players lift the level for the Warriors in the finals? Otherwise, they'll be knocked out straight away. Who can lift? Fisher Harris, well, you know what you're going to get with him. But who's going to lift? As I keep saying, near Kore, he needs to lift. Wade Egan will be back next week. Obviously, without Wade Egan, there's a potential issue for the Warriors today. Not having him out of dummy half could be costly. But yeah, big opportunity for the Warriors today. But the Roosters, can they knock off the Rabbitohs on Friday night football? I'm not so. I mean, they should, but I'm not so convinced. There's a lot of experience in the Rabbitohs side coming back. But the forward pack, that's where they should win it. It's really, if this is a fair dinkum game, Spencer Leniu, Lindsay Collins should take it by the scruff of the neck and Nifavua White just smash them out of the park and they will win easily. But we know that all these other players will lift, so it's going to be an interesting game tonight between those two. Penrith, well, they should be beating the Dragons. Sharks, Bulldogs, this starting to may potentially be not really a non-event game. We will find out after tonight. But yes, what do we know? What's locked out? So Broncos is going to Canberra and Bulldogs are going to Storm. Cronulla and the Warriors are going to have a home semi, but we don't know their opponents just yet. So more than likely the Warriors, to me, are going to be playing Penrith and Cronulla are going to be playing either Roosters or Dolphins. I think that's what's going to happen. But if the Warriors can pull off the win today and prove me wrong, even though they should win, the Warriors, don't get me wrong, they should win. I don't think they should be outsiders, but I'm just not convinced they're playing good enough football. But yes, so Warriors are likely to play Penrith and Sharks play the Roosters more than likely, or Dolphins. But still, the Warriors could end up playing Roosters or Dolphins if they win. But they could win and Cronulla win and they'll still be in the same predicament. Can they beat Penrith? Well, I think we'll talk about that next week. But yes, I would not want to be playing Penrith in the first round of the finals. That is for sure. But what do I think of the teams in the bottom? Let's be completely honest. Penrith are the only one that can win from the bottom. Obviously, Sharks, Warriors, Roosters, they can win the first game. But after that, they'll probably struggle. But Penrith can win 2 in a row. If Penrith got to play, who have they got? Broncos or more than likely Bulldogs, yes, they can beat them. But whether or not they can beat, yeah, but in saying that, Broncos, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Canberra are no certainties against the Broncos, folks, but Broncos do not like the cold. That's the one thing that is a bonus for them if they can bridge that gap. Big game. Melbourne Storm, well, they would have been raging hot favourites going into the Bulldogs game. If Bulldogs come out and smash them, and we know how defensively the Bulldogs could be going straight through to the preliminary final. Those games are not cut and dry. I thought it would have been cut and dry a couple of weeks ago. You would have said Raiders are going to win no matter what, and they might still do in the Storm. But after this week's games, it might just be interesting. Or is it all roads lead to Canberra Raiders just win this easily? We will find out. The Warriors, just unfortunate injuries have really cost them, and they are floating to the finish. Cronulla can't beat the big teams. As simple as that. That's just what has been all year. Panthers can do it. Whether they will do it, I'm going to say they won't do it, but I'm going to say they might get close and might get to the preliminary final. And after that, really, you're clutching at straws to Roosters and that. But the Roosters, if they get there, Dolphins, I think if Dolphins get there, the team that come fifth to the Sharks and thing will win. But if the Roosters win, Roosters could beat the Warriors or the Sharkies. But that is to come in the future. But anyway, that's Barry Charles Footy Show for this weekend. Let's enjoy the football on the weekend, and I'll talk about finals football next week as we get ready for the big day. It's the top 8.